one thing that I would suggest is to have patience for sure, because the job search journey is not something that happens really quick. You need to be very patient, and you need to keep applying to 1,000 jobs.
You can just explain how did it all start? When did you actually seriously start preparing for your placements? When
Yeah.
was it? And how did you start?
Yeah, so I was actually just exploring different career options in the beginning of my final semester. So as every final student would, I was also completely clueless about what I wanted to do. So
Hmm.
I was just exploring different options, and I came across product management as a really intriguing and interesting career option for me. So I was just going through just different course materials and just studying the basic concepts of it. And around December, I started seriously preparing for my placement season, as the placement season was approaching, and so I wanted to like buckle up and like speed up the process. So
Okay.
so this is when I started preparing seriously for my placements, and it went through January till the mid of February.
Okay. Okay. So what is your background? What branch are you from? And like why specifically product management hit you?
Yeah, so my branch is chemical engineering. I know it has nothing to do with product management, and so I also did a minor degree in finance. As you may know, BITS also offers a minor degree, so I did a minor degree in finance, and I was just curious about the business side of things ever since I studied finance, and I was exploring different career options. And to be honest, I wanted to work in tech since I was in my first year, and I was also exploring software development in my in my initial years. But then it didn't suit me. I just found that it didn't suit me. But then I was interested in the business side of things, so I was exploring what kind of options I would have, and then I stumbled upon product management, and I thought it would be a really great fit for me, since I would be working in tech, and I would be working in the business side of things as well. So I wanted to move into tech product management.
Hmm.
So this is how I found out that I wanted to do product management.
Understood. Understood. Fair enough. Yeah. So when you finally decided that product management is your passion, how did you go about it? Like there are so many people who might be
Yeah.
in their situation. So how did you start?
Yeah, so I just started by like doing a few Udemy courses, and then I came across like a few boot camps, like the product school and those kind of things. I did one boot camp there, and I learned the basics of product management. But one part where I found the most challenging was the interview preparation, because when it comes to product management, the interviews are not really fixed. You don't exactly know what kind of questions they ask, since it's a business. They usually give you a business situation or a business problem that you would need to solve there on the spot, and it is actually very harder than you think, that because for someone who doesn't have any business acumen, or someone who's new to the business field, they would find it really difficult, and it requires a lot of practice to ace those interviews.
Hmm. Correct. So finally, sort of, I think you came to know about Preplaced probably by like
Yeah.
because we collaborated with Bits directly.
Let's
So
Yes.
so regarding the interview preparation part, so as I understand clearly that you did a couple of courses, you also attended few boot camps and developed your skills to a like a decent like
Yes.
point, and then you were finally in the sort of an interview preparation stage.
Yeah.
So how do you go about from that point onwards?
Yeah. So initially, I did not pick up Preplaced because the placement season was just starting, and I wanted to give it a try myself. But the one thing I noticed is I was actually applying to many job openings off campus too. So one thing I noticed is initially I was not getting shortlisted for any interviews, but then I started to work on my CV more, and things like that. I improved my CV and added a few things, and I started slowly getting interview calls.
Hmm.
For the interviews. But then even there, I was pretty stuck because I wasn't able to convert any of those interviews into an offer. Like they were I've gotten many interview calls, but I was finding it difficult. So I thought I'll give Preplaced a try, and I took up mentorship from Devanshu, and I think so that's where it helped me like grab an offer. He said the right things and what exactly to do, things like that.
Understood. So, you mentioned that as far as I understand correctly, like you did a sort of series of courses and you developed your
Yeah.
skills, but still you were getting stuck in interviews. So, I really want to understand what exactly was the missing area which mentorship like helped you with. What is something that really changed
Yeah.
it?
Basically, interviews have two parts. So they test you their soft skills and your hard skills when it comes to the interviews. So basically, I had to go. I had to understand step by step of the interview process. Firstly, from the tell me about yourself question. So we spent actually a lot of time in crafting a good answer for that particular question, because it gives you a really good first impression about yourself when you tell about yourself to the interviewer. So right from that question, I actually learned a lot from my interviews, because I was stuck on that very first question during my initial interviews. I didn't know how to answer them properly. Most interviews ask you to run you through your resume, and
Hmm.
so when you run through your resume to them, they ask you a few questions from whatever you have done, any projects or work experience. So if you stumble on that, or if you don't know how to answer it, then I think it would be a very kind of a red flag for them, because you wouldn't know how to answer how you have written on your resume. So those kind of things I actually learned through experience, because like I couldn't answer exactly what I have written on my resume. I have done those things, but I couldn't exactly explain it properly. So I
Hmm.
actually took help from the mentor, and I exactly like learned how to craft those answers. I had actually written down all the answers for what kind of questions they would ask, and I would written down, and I would just refer to them whenever it was being asked in the
Okay.
interviews.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
That how you went about your interview prep. So, can you break down it for me? Like, what were the number of sessions that you took? Like, did you took with multiple mentors, or how did you go about your sort of
Yeah.
mentorship journey?
Yeah. Yeah, so I actually took two mentors. So I was planning on preparing for consulting roles as well, because this was actually kind of a last minute, because I was fixated on product management. But then as you may know, the current situation is not that great for tech roles. So I thought, why not have a consulting role as like I try it too. So I wanted to take up consulting as well. So I took a mentor for that, and so I took mentorship with Arishma
Okay.
for the consulting roles. And she was the one who helped me craft my CV properly. And actually, yeah, so I wasn't getting many interview calls, but after taking a few resume tips from her and improving my resume, I actually started getting a lot of interview calls after that. And yeah, that's where I also learned many concepts of the consulting case studies from her. And
Hmm.
I think it was actually very useful, because one more thing I learned is yeah, both roles, product management and consulting. For consulting, they hire you as a business analyst. So for both roles, you need business acumen. And I wouldn't say that they're mutually exclusive, because if you know how to solve, if you have good business acumen, if you know how to solve business cases, you can crack either of those roles. They're not very completely different from each other. I mean, the questions that they ask might slightly differ based on the role you are like interviewing for. But basically, for both, since both are business roles, the preparation isn't very completely different, I would say.
Hmm. Hmm. Great. So yeah, so you mentioned that Arishma really helped you for your resume, and after which you started getting more sort of
More
opportunities.
into
Uh,
Yeah,
Similarly, like where probably when you are were doing product management, improves like skill enhancement with Devanshu, were
mm,
there any specific instances where you like which hit you, which were like sort of eureka moments for you that really mentorship like changed some part of you or you helped you? If you can had some of these instances, you can tell me.
yeah. So actually, I owe my entire interview preparation journey to Devanshu. Actually, like right from the beginning of like the tell me about yourself question, he helped me through the entire process. I told you that since product roles and consulting roles aren't too different, actually Devanshu also taught me that. So he told me you don't need to. So I was like, I was asking him. He was actually preparing for me for both roles. Actually, when I asked him I wanted to go into product management, he started first explaining me from the basics what to do, and then giving me a few basic case studies and things like that. Then I asked him, I'm preparing for product roles. Why are you giving me these? These look more similar to consulting. So he told me like, these are not very mutually exclusive roles. Like you need to have basic business acumen and build a strong foundation. Only after which you will be able to crack any kind of role that would be any kind of question that would be thrown at you. So this
Okay.
is yeah. So this is how it helped me strengthen my foundation a lot.
One question is like if you had to sort of recommend Preplaced or had to talk about sort of the entire your one-on-one mentorship experience in, let's say, a few adjectives, or even like tell it to you about your friends, how would you put this program to others?
Okay, so the first thing that comes to my mind is it's very exciting because you meet people from different walks of life, and you like kind of take their wisdom with you, like whatever words of wisdom they tell you. It is actually very invaluable advice and words that you would go on to carry in your professional and personal life too. Actually, so
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, great, great. So, just final two questions.
yeah,
One question is like a lot of people out there uh, would be going in a sort of a similar career phase as you have been through, right?
right,
And a lot of people we get like want to switch domains. They are not able to stay consistent. Probably they give up in between. They don't have clarity what to do. So for all of them, after based on your experience and based on your success, what would you like one message if you had to give it to them? Who
right,
like probably all who will watch this video. Uh,
right.
yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
so
And them.
yeah, so one thing that I would suggest is to have patience for sure, because the job search journey is not something that happens really quick. You need to be very patient, and you need to keep applying to 1,000 jobs to get around 50 interviews, and then finally one offer. It is a very the odds are really against us. So you need to keep trying, and you need to be patient, and you it will happen, and just
Okay.
trust the process, I would say. Yeah.
When you all of the companies that you applied to, everything was off campus, or you got offers on campus as well?
No, the this offer was on campus, and I had been applying off campus as well. Around, I would say, almost half the companies that I've applied were off campus.
Okay, okay, great. So, how was your sort of interview experience? Did you just walk in and nailed it, or how
No,
was
no,
it?
no. It was very difficult. Few interviews, actually, very few interviews were offline. Only the ones that I applied on campus were offline because they had to visit our college and take the interviews, but the rest are online. And most of it, many of it, I was fumbling. I had a lot of anxiety before the interviews. I was really scared and all that. And I know it's perfectly normal, but once you're too nervous, it make sure that we should make sure that we're not too nervous that we would mess up the interview.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how like when you finally got the news of your offer, how did
Mhm.
you separate? I have been in that position myself when you're
Mm.
basically placement season full of stress and your
Yes,
friends are
exactly.
every day. So how did
Yeah.
you separate after? Like, what was the relief?
Yeah, I was just felt completely relieved. I just didn't want to think about anything else. Just wanted to I just wanted to lie down and sleep. Just nothing else. Yeah.
Great, great. So yeah, really inspiring story. Really happy to hear that you followed your passion, and from starting from chemical engineering, you decided you basically even were able to find product management as a fit. That is also great thing, and then finally you were able to crack it. So really happy to talk to you and listen to your story. So finally, like if you had any improvements, we are an early stage startup. If you had any improvements that you would like us to do, from your experience, any suggestions, we would definitely take in.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's a really good interface and really good platform to work on. I think the UI is also very smooth, and the meetings were also very easy to hold on the platform. So
Okay.
no other suggestions from now. Right,
Okay.
meetings. I
Thanks.
just
Thanks.
one suggestion would be we could be if it would be possible to reschedule our meetings with the mentors before 24 hours. Like I think we could only do it before
Yeah,
24 hours. So if we could
correct.
do it within 24 hours, it would be nice. I mean, like I know
Yeah.
that we would have to look at the mentor schedule as well. So yeah, that would
Correct. So
help.
yeah, we have received this feature request. Like it is in planning. We are going to
Yeah.
launch it soon. So that will also be done. Thanks, but yeah, thanks a lot for your feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was great talking to you.
Yeah.
Really happy to see like that I am finally able to help people back from my college, and really always
Yeah.
amazing to talk to a fellow Bitsin.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This is actually
congrats.
really helpful, yeah. So to find mentors, it is actually really difficult to find a mentor who would be a right fit for you, who would have the same vibe as you and who would like you would learn a lot from. So I think this platform really helps a lot to connect with mentors very easily.
Yes, great. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
That is the idea, that everyone
mm,
can basically connect to mentors and on a long-term basis try to achieve their goal via that. So that's
yeah,
the whole concept. Yeah. Um, so glad to talk to you. Thanks for taking out time again. In future, if
sure.
you need anything, any help, you can definitely get back to us. We will again even help. Probably even Devanshu might stay in touch with you.
Yeah,
So you can keep learning on the platform as well.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Congrats again. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Bye.